Jeff, coming to you from beautiful Costa Rica, Rythmia Life Advancement Center. Today, I want to talk about something that's really interesting, and a lot of us are never really aware that we're doing or not doing. And it's called having boundaries with ourselves. Now, we all know what boundaries are with other people. We learned that in kindergarten. It's really easy. We sit a certain distance, give people space. That's easy. Like, we all know that. What are boundaries with self? I'll tell you. How much of your own emotional energy are you willing to invest to meet the needs of someone else? If you're willing to invest a lot or a little is depending on you and your mood and also the relationship you have with those people. And there's no right or wrong. But being unclear about what your boundaries are to yourself, meaning that you'll invest the same amount of emotional energy into everybody at all times, is extremely draining. And it allows people to target you for emotional projection. So being in control of your emotional energy and how much you want to meet the needs of other people that you're engaging with, whether it's work or family or friends, having that awareness about where you're at in your day is very, very important to safeguard your own energy and not get burnt out in your job or in life for that matter. So I'll give you an example. Like, I have 4 kids, and I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old and an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. Yes, I'm insane. So my 2-year-old, he needs a ton of my emotional energy to help meet his needs because he's just a little baby. But my daughter, who's 21, who's off to law school, needs less of my emotional energy to meet her needs. She doesn't really need me to meet her needs at all, other than just being a supportive dad and here to listen and give advice as she wants me to. So it's very different, the level of emotional energy that I need to invest in those 2 different people. It doesn't mean I don't love them as the same. It doesn't, none of that. It's just how much do I need to go with my own vibe to meet their emotional needs. So it's like this, when I was working in Los Angeles as a clinician and I had a caseload, I saw about 15 people a day. It was a very full day. And I learned that if I was managing my emotional energy, I could do it forever. I could work all night even. But, I'm being extreme. I wouldn't do that. But my patients were all very different on what they needed in a therapy session. Some of them, one guy, he was acutely schizophrenic. And the goals of therapy for him were hygiene and appropriate communication. So that level of emotional energy for me there's not a lot required because it was more mechanical, administrative, and logistical. And he was amazing. I loved him. He was a great patient. But the level of my emotional investment in how was he going to brush his teeth was very different than the next patient I had come in the door, which was a 10-year-old kid in foster care that was going through some bullying at school and some violence in the home. That kid needed a lot of my emotional energy to help him feel safe and to give him a space where he could talk freely. So there's a different level of my emotional energy. Now, it's not about my professional investment. It's not about, like I said, it's not with my kids. It's not about how much I care. It has to do with where am I at in my day? How am I feeling? What do I have to give? What do I need to save for me? That's what this is. So really, it's self-awareness. It's self-assessment. Some days I have a lot of emotional energy to give, and I can give it to the guy at the grocery store who's working in the produce section. And as soon as I do, he starts telling me all kinds of issues he's going on in his life. And it's almost like he's one of my patients, right? So if I'm in that mood, that's fine. But if I don't want to do that because I'm in a rush and I'm not really his therapist, the guy spraying down the produce, I like his job because it makes me happy, but I don't need to sit there and counsel this guy. Then I safeguard my emotional energy. And I know that it's not going to be wide out there for him or anybody unless I really want it to be. So I'm in charge of it. Now, when we come across people that have personality disorders, and I have to say that they're so-called personality disorders, really what personality disorders are, they're just clusters of behavior that are normal behaviors that we all have parts of. But people that have a personality disorder diagnosis have a group of maybe 9 out of 12 things that they do. And it's often hard for those people, and their lives are a little rough and they're kind of struggle. Sometimes people with personality disorders in particular cannot contain extreme emotion. So if they're extremely happy or extremely angry, they're going to look for a target to project that onto, to get it off of them, and also for them to understand themselves by letting it manifest in someone else. It's kind of a deep thing, and we're not going to get into that right now, but just to give you an idea, those kind of people are going to target you if you don't have awareness and checks and balances with your own emotional energy. Because what's happening is those people are going through the audience and the crowd and the people at their party or in the workroom, and they're saying, that's somebody right there that is unclear about their emotional energy. So I'm going to target them because they're wide open with it. Or they're going to see you and go, that person is in check with it. They just know where it is. It could be a lot. It